Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
How are you doing, guys?
I'm not fine.
Thank you, and you? I'm fine, and I was ready to give you a material about basic concept of microeconomic theory. This material is divided by three parts. Number one is scarcity. Number two is opportunity cost, and the last is economics and microeconomics theory. The first one is scarcity. Scarcity happen because human needs are unlimited. But the resources, is limited. In the daily of every person, company, general, public, and even the state will always be faced with problems of an economic nature. For example, what are we eating today and where are we going to full budget? Said one individual. The issues of individual, companies, communities, and countries related to how to make decision about the best way to do an economic activity. Economic activity is the activity of a person or company or community to produce, distribute, and consume various kinds of goods or services that they need to achieve prosperity. In carrying out economic activities, an individual or company or the wider community will be faced with limitations, so they have to make choices or alternatives. Based on the available alternative, they must make a decision to choose the best alternative. Why do we have to make a choice, or why do we need to think about the best way to do economic activity? The reason is that not all human needs, in this case consumer or producer, can be obtained easily because not all of these goods and economic resources are available, or the amount is relatively limited, or sacrifice is required to obtain them. So that raises a problem where on the one hand the need for resources or goods and services in increasing and tends to be unlimited, while on the other hand the availability or resources is relatively limited. This condition is then called economic problem. The one of problem is scarcity. And next to the second one is opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is sacrifice for something that is not chosen. We often say that life is full of choices. It is true that the reality is like that. This happened because of the scarcity of resources. Therefore, we are constantly faced with the choice of which item we want to buy and which activities we will do with this limited time and income. When we make choices that are taken as the best alternative, at the same way, we also forced to sacrifice other alternative that's called opportunity cost. Opportunity cost. A simple example for opportunity cost is if the rest of you budget is from the monthly pocket money given by your parent is 100 rupiahs. With that money, you can watch movies or you can buy a book for college. Then you decide to go to the movies. So according to this opportunity cost, the opportunity cost is watching the movie. Okay, so the opportunity cost is a decision occurs due to the choices of goods or activities in scarcity at the expense of other goods or activities. Opportunity cost is the value of goods and services sacrificed because we chosen an alternative course of action. The concept of opportunity cost is very useful for understanding that the actual rupiah value spent by a person or certain parties is not always an indicator of the actual cost incurred. And suddenly I have to explain to you guys about economics and microeconomics theory.
Sir, may
Yes.
I go to the toilet, please?
Of course.
Thank you.
Okay, we continue. Before we know about the microeconomics theory, there are three initial concepts that we must understand first before we can conclude regarding microeconomic theory. Number one is, what is theory? Number two is, what is micro? And last, what is microeconomy? Okay, first one is the definition of the theory. Theory is a set of construct concept, variable, assumption, and the proportions that have been tested empirically. Next, I will explain about the definition of micro. Uh, the definition of micro does not mean small, but rather a partial or individual. So it can be concluded that microeconomics is a set of partial economic definition, assumption, variables, and relationship that can be used as a framework for explain, predicting, and controlling various symptoms or behavior of economic life partially. The focus of the study microeconomic is theory revolves around consumer behavior, producer behavior, and the distribution of goods and services or market analysis, including production, factor markets, or input and output markets. And that's the end of the material. I hope you guys understand what I say. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.